good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Before you take the trade, I am your host, JD the Great, and it looks like my camera is not on. Let's double check what's happening here. Then turn a button on. Let's reset that. There we go. That looks like me. We won't stay on too long. I had a bit of a family emergency, so I just want to break down to the commodities and get myself ready. Today is the last day of the free one-on-ones, so please take advantage of it. You can go ahead and find the link down below. Just go ahead and click on it. Also, just a little FYI. Oh, it looks like my chat is not available. Okay. That is interesting. Hold on, I'm about to fix that issue. And let me switch over to the chart. Looks like the market is trying to find its path, as usual. You know how the game goes. But the problem that it's going to be facing in that regard is we made highs, right? We made highs. And everybody knows we made highs. But I would say the biggest challenge is going to face when it's trying to make its next step or its next direction. Today is the last day of the month. So even though we're making these highs, make sure I mute myself because I don't want this to give an echo. Okay, there we go. Oh, they had sent a notification on here. Okay. That's real cute. Thank you, YouTube, for letting me know. So even though that it made new highs, trying to make higher highs here is like buying high to sell higher. It's just not going to be the easiest thing. I think there are some lingering orders that the brokers are going to be sweeping for. That's where the other traders come into play with it. And for the most part, it's very important that you understand I'm taking these trades based on the parameters of my strategy. I don't want you to do anything other than your strategy. And if you do your top-down analysis, you will notice that with your strategy, you're in a very exhausted state. There has to be some type of pullback. So as we go through these individual commodities and break down a few tickers, it's very important that you lay your plan on top of everything that I discuss. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started. Right. All right. So let's go. We got NQ. NQ is looking like a replay. Let me get off my replay. I was testing some stuff. And let's get rid of this. Bye, bye, bye. All right. So NQ is making another push to the upside. Again, this is at its highest point. I'm not saying there is no opportunities here. I'm just saying be very conscious of your setup, of your position, making sure that it gets to exactly what you're looking for so that way you can have peace of mind, right? We got a nice little gap that happened this morning. Sorry, last night as we opened up. A few of traders, I got some of my in little FYI, stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of things that I'm working on. This vacation is also a planning phase too. So after I'm done with the one-on-ones today, I'm gonna be free to get all my creative design, get all my historical stuff together, and get some of the things that I have in the back of my head ready for y'all. We're gonna have a lot of fun and learning how to trade the proper way in the most entertaining and engaging way possible. Hit that button. I'm telling you, you're gonna miss out. All right, and we took it last night, and it's almost like it was almost ready to kind of take to this point. So I don't know if they're still in it. They probably are, and they probably made their money with it. What it do, Rod? What's going on? Good morning. Yeah, I got a little tweak to my chat. It was acting up, so I'm watching it off of YouTube directly versus stream. But yeah, so look for NQ to continue until the end of the day. And remember, July is not known of a bearish month. Just keep that in mind. So wherever we open, there has to be some sense of a pullback. It might be a little uncomfortable. So if you want to sit on cash, that's cool too. Or you want to lower your leverage, that's not a problem. But just plan around that because there's going to be a couple of nuances that needs to be navigated inside of your trade. But you can see this. We're back to 22,900. We're so close to 23,000 that I think they're going to take a stab at 23,000. Again, we are continuing to make all-time highs. All right, so there's a couple things that you have to do with this, right? I told y'all last week when y'all do this, take one of these more fuller candles, put a fib. Let me put my profit taker one, right? And a couple of levels that were targeted, we hit two of them. This is the 0618 right here, 22,852, 22,754, 22,792. Very, very, very direct. I don't like to put it in places like with the dojis, but just for giggles, let's just say there is no doji and we just take only the body. You see, this is the same type of targets. So I want to see a nice full on move here and how the day ends, and I could plan for July. If you want to go ahead and get a little fancy, we could go ahead and consider the leg. This whole leg of this movement is in the middle of a breakout. Some say bull flag, some say bear pennant, some say it's a W, some say inverse head and shoulder. To be honest, I don't care what you see. Just find a place where you see the swing high and the swing low. All right, so I got the swing high, swing low. So here's a couple more targets. 23,500, 24,709. Like these are areas with Fibonacci that you can kind of target some areas and understand where can I go here. Again, this is the end of the month. Be conscious of your position. If you're just now in a position because you just jumped in last week, it's a good time to shave profits. If you are in a trade that's been there for months and you got more on your time horizon, by all means, hold on to your trade because that's a different type of plan of what I'm discussing today. All right, this is oil. Now, I've explained this about oil, that oil is in a very weird spot, right? And the reason why oil kind of looks like this is because, again, we're under the order block. We're trying to find a place. And plus, every time they got outside of what would have been that pandemic pop-up, right? It just got smacked a couple of times. And you can see that in the chart. Look at it. You got these nice stabs every time. You got the first one that happened over in June 16th. And you have the one that's over here in June 23rd. There's a lot of stuff that's happening here that the market is trying to decide, are we going to be bullish? I think they're going to make a test to the downside because these are very strong candles. This is way outside of their range. Like this is $6. Let's just call it dollars, right? 6 points of a range. When for the most part it's average 1 to 50 cents, $2 is probably its peak. This one right here was like $4, and this was 4. You're talking about 6 points all in one day. That's not normal for oil. So look for oil to probably test some lower levels, find some supporters, and then try to retake this. But I want to see how they treat this uptrend. Again, this uptrend, all it takes is 2 points. Here's our third. They're building the base, thinking they could break out now. So let's see how well this holds. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is gold. And you already know when it comes down to gold, it's one of those that it moves very, very well. And you could see, oh, that is not gold. I guess I was kind of messing with my charts. And that is, I was about to say gold took off. But nah, I know gold is not at that point. But right now, with the fact that gold is in the middle of, you know, we got the stuff going on with Trump, and we got the war in Iran, and then Iran is not letting them see any of their nuclear statuses with inspection. You got a whole bunch of junk that's happening, guess what ends up happening? There's uncertainty in the market. When there's uncertainty in the market, it's going to go ahead and do the same effect over to your commodities. So I think gold is kind of like calming down here, because if you don't remember, gold started its run all the way back here when the Hamas and Israel part started, like roughly around early 2024, probably even further back. It might have been like end of 2023, somewhere around here into 2024. So just keep that in mind. There might be just some profit taking here. Maybe they're starting to get into some of the currencies. If for my Forex folks, it's probably a good time to check out some of your favorites. A good friend of mine, shout out to Immaculate Tony, he was breaking down USD JPY. Maybe it's time to kind of look at the currencies and see what's happening there, because when I start to see the commodities pull back like this, that's when you start to see some of it come down. Sorry to pop up. All right, so the next one we got is silver. Let's go over to silver. You'll see that in silver, it is at a stalemate. It hasn't decided what it wants to do. It's time for it to kind of find its place. And yeah, this bounce, I thought it was going to drag gold, and it didn't. So just keep an eye on silver. Let's see what it does with it. British pound, it is tired. It's been on the run. And I kind of gave y'all that warning that this area was going to be a little tough, because this was part of the whole entire Brexit move. And it's not going to be easy to break this point. So look out for this area. Let me put a line on there. 1.3745. You already rejected it once. Let's see if it could get through. Hold above. But the day is not starting well for it. So let's see what happens. And then we got ourselves ES. Again, trucking along, just like the rest of the NQ and everything else. And you know what I like about what's going on with ES? I think this is it's almost like the shove over the cliff. And that's why I was a little bullish coming in to last night, even though there was not a lot of information coming in from Friday all the way into the weekend. But I think they threw the ball over the cliff, and we're just like rolling at this point. And wherever the momentum catches us is where we're going to reverse at. So maybe, especially with this day, let me put this on here for y'all. All right. For the week, you got maybe 60. Sorry, that's not it. 6,300. Maybe that's what they're looking for. 63.46, 64.12 would be aggressive for the week, especially with the week above here on the stochastic. And the MACD is open. It can do that, especially if we don't make any type of sense of a fair value gap. It's going to give the momentum and continue to the upside. Russell should be beneficial to this whole entire move. Look at, oh, excuse me. Look at you. That's actually Dow. That's not it. I was like, wait a minute, that's a lot of movement. Okay, that's the Russell I know. There we are. So yeah, so we got a nice little move right here on this weekly. They want to get into here. I think unless we see a massive drop on the NQ or ES, this thing is not going to get there into those levels. But let's just have our imagination just in case it does get there. 22.32 would be a good point. Of course, it needs to hold above 21.94 before it can go up there. So this nice little move that it happens this morning is solid. Let's see if it can hold this for the rest of the day. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the final, which is the infamous dollar. This thing tells you a lot. And I told y'all, I said, the more that we keep on hanging down here, the more it feels like they're using this area as an order block, the more they're going to reject off of it. They started that since Wednesday last week. The market's trying to decide, are we going to continue to this downside? Right now, this did make a lower low. So that would be, well, that's not a finished candle. So I would say maybe here would be our lower high at this point and trying to make a lower low. Look at that stochastic down here. Look at that. They were trying to put in a bullish divergence, and that bullish divergence could not do its job, right? I think they waited for the stochastic to kind of calm down. Maybe it starts off in the middle of July. Maybe that's when it finally decides, are we going to really make this move and allow for the dollar to kind of reset the market? Very possible. I wouldn't want it to. I'm not going to lie to you. I got some positions for the upside, and like I said, whatever goes in motion stays in motion, and I do think that that's happening. But if you do chart the dollar and this base kind of falls into place and it doesn't open up, we're making some lower lows here. We're probably going to get a nice little reversal in the beginning of July. But if this thing gives a massive candle to the downside on the 1st of July, it's going to be a strong possibility. We're going to have ourselves a great upside on July. So very important that you chart the dollar. If you don't chart the dollar, chart the VIX. That's another one. I know some people prefer VIX over dollar. I like the dollar more so because I'm just used to it. It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the commodities because I have discussed quite a few of them. Let me grab my list. Oh, before we do that, I want to kind of break some things down. And understand, I do sprinkle this every so often, but this is probably the most important time for this in itself. Let me get my camera right. Look like the children got to it. There we go. And boom. So everything that you've done, I don't know where you are in your trading journey. I don't know where you what level your trading has gotten to. Are you profitable or not profitable or anything else? But I want to break down this because I got this from Tom Hougaard's book, Best Loser Wins, and it's very important that you understand the concept of this because if you can understand this, then this will take your trading to the next level. And it starts with trust. You got to be able to trust your strategies and trust your trades. You're not going to trust your trades if you didn't backtest them. Backtest everything. Everything that I discuss, do not take it for gospel. I'm just suggesting because, one, I am not a fiduciary. But two, at the end of the day, it's what you see in the chart, not what JD tells you. And then you got to have patience with your trade. If it has a 60% win rate, then you gotta run it until the wheels fall off. And if it goes under 60%, then you can tweak it. But other than that, you cannot throw babies out with the bathwater. There's a lot of reason why traders quit is because of that. Because the patience is going to lead to your confidence on the strategy, confidence in yourself, confidence to take the trade, and then you can start telling yourself, I am a profitable trader. And that's where dialogue comes into play. I have a 3D version of that same set of information, but look out for my mindset because I'm going to be posting those over my vacation. But I will tell you this, it's very, very important that you work on your dialogue. Start telling yourself that you know what you're doing and you are that solid trader in itself. All right. So then without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these tickers. All right. So the first thing I want to kind of discuss is companies like Netflix, right? Netflix is still up pre-market. It's not at its high, but to be honest, Netflix is at a point that this is just amazing of the movement that they're making, and you have to take it in like well. Like I know it's probably tough for you to get in as far as taking the trade to the upside, but companies like Netflix going to let you know what the pulse of the market is going. Because if they start to take money out of Netflix, that's a large cap of a company. That's going to cascade around the market. So still, chart these tickers. It's going to help you. Another one that I'm looking at is Meta. I was very confident it would hold that 700 level. Oh, let's go. I'm really looking for Meta to get to like 805. Right now I'm sitting on a small, so I added to my position, but it's still kind of small because I was going to scale in when it broke 740. But it smashed it out the park. They're probably going to go into 750. Look for a possible rejection over there. Another one I'm looking at is Tesla. Tesla's been getting its butt whooped back and forth as much as it can. And again, I'm going to say it like this. I am still a Tesla fan. I love my Tesla vehicle. I love everything that Tesla does when it's all said and done. I just don't like what Elon Musk does from a political standpoint, and the market is reflecting a whole bunch of junk in that regard. So I like Teslas for a long haul. I think people are building positions because there's probably going to be a major move on that side, and it won't like flat out fall. You can kind of see that, right? We're getting this where it gets to 350, which I think is a good, strong psychological level. Let me mark this off to kind of give you that. When you see strong psychological levels, it's very important that you I can see it because I'm a trader. But when just mark it off, right? And then you could kind of see it's a reactionary zone. They used it as resistance. It tried to be support. When they tried to take it to support again over here in July, I said January 23rd. And it was a previous support. It was a rejection area. And then you could kind of see what the market is doing, especially when we talk about a ticker that's been making a whole bunch of highs and you're not too sure exactly where it's going to go, right? Look at this. This is when it happened over here in 2022. Same area, rejection, used that support, failed as support, used it again and again and again. These are telling you a story. Listen to the story, then you'll know when to get inside of the trade. If it doesn't hold 350, it is not going to be bullish. It's just not going to. It's almost impossible. Are they going to attack some of these moves? Yeah, absolutely. Right? You got a whole entire downtrend that happened back here in 2022. They tried to put this thing into the dirt. Look what happened when they did. It did its nice little breakout and actually they reattempted to try to drop it here. This is why I tell you to mark off your deviations. Get there, right? And we had a nice little solid break. This is probably the pullback to continue to the upside. We don't know what they're planning. It made new higher highs here. But for the most part, are you saying it's bullish at this point? No. Stay away from the ticker, or maybe just, take small positions, but do not just sit here and think that, oh, today is that 320, this is the best price, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and play it. Let it reset. Let you find something that gives you the confluence that lets you know it's time and it's ready to go. You don't want light colors on your MACD. Give it some time. Last week we handed in a hammer. That hammer can push us all. Ooh, pin bar. If you know, you know, right? So it ended the week at a hammer. So why force it? All right, let's keep this going. I'm gonna give y'all up until about 8:30. So let's just run through it. Apple. I was thinking Apple was gonna give us a nice little solid bounce, getting above 202, 203 by the end of the day on Friday. It did not. They just basically kind of pushed this bad boy back down. Looking for this one to find a base and then continue to the upside. You could kind of see the daily is just annoyed because we just been literally just staying inside of this range. But the tighter the range, the bigger the move at this point, because the way you can see this nice little expansion here and we're getting really, really compressed here, something's going to happen. It might be downside. It might be upside. Tickers tend to stay on the upside, so I'm leaning that way, but it is what it is. Bowen, if you know, you know. The date is July 23rd. 3M is rocketing. That bad boy is going. Okay, so we don't got no pre-market action, no trades, but that break of 148 led to 152. If those that are followed that, I'm telling you that, I know my stuff. I know my stuff. Oil is continuing to drop, and then pre-market is not faring too well. UPS, it looks like that base is starting to build a little bit more. Do we get that micro trend? And I think that could happen here. Are we going to get a nice little solid rise that's right here? Are we going to get there? Are we going to go ahead and fill this imbalance and get up into this upper register, probably about 105? Do we get to the 200 at 115, 114? Very possible. All these things can happen. What time is it? City, my baby. This one just got away from me. Set your alerts, people. I'm telling you this right now. I am kicking myself in the chin for this one. I'm going to find the video and post it over my vacation. But I literally charted this whole entire thing out. I let y'all know what was going on with BYTTT. I did find some documentary to City. If anything, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break the whole entire thing down for y'all. We're gonna go all the way to housing bubbles. Like, subscribe the video. We're gonna go hammer on City, and we're gonna understand exactly how you can find opportunities like City. All right, SoFi is still trucking along, which I anticipate this thing is gonna be a $20 stock. Sorry, Rod. Lily looks like it wants a pullback. I think the pullback is going to go a little bit deeper, especially that, you know, we had this wedge and it's at the bottom of the wedge. Back here somewhere, I want to say it was around here. I thought we was going to get a head and shoulders action and drop, but they came in and swept a little bit more liquidity here, and that's why we're here where we are. So there's a lot of consolidation here, and I think they are a little bit tired. Hold on. Looks like a very massive bull flag, though. Very interesting here. If you can't see it, I would say come to my one-on-ones. Link is down in the description. But this looks like a massive, massive bull flag. Keep Eli Lilly on your radar. They got earnings that's coming out soon. Yes, the first week of August. So this one is probably going to be a telling. Yes, you know what? That makes sense. How are they handling the competition? Everybody's coming out with their version of Ozempic. Is there anything on the pipeline for new drugs? What is the revenue with everything? Are you still the market dominant of that? Is your side effect, which would kind of tell you the story of side effects, is your side effects less aggressive than these other ones that came in for your market share? These are the questions that's gonna. Lily looks good. Lily looks good. All right, let me go ahead and ride out of here. I got a couple of things I got to do for the family before I get out onto the market. Look forward to working with each and every one of y'all. So BYTTT is going to be going into the end of the season, basically, right? So we're wrapped up on June 30th. Today's the last day for one-on-ones. The next phase on this is going to be something fun along the lines. A lot of people ask, like, how do you get into trades? What's the best way? And I'm going to do something that's going to be a little bit more real time for y'all. And look, there's no perfect trade. If you think that you're going to come to my channel and JD's going to show you nothing but W's and this, that, and the third, because either he wants to scam you or whatever the case may be, I'm telling you, this is not that channel. You might as well unsubscribe now. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to give you pure honesty, I could show you all the certificates that I've done for funded. I could show you all of the option trades that I've taken. I could show you my mindset classes. I could show you all these things to try to motivate you to be like, oh, well, like me. I don't care. It's either you like me or you don't when it's all said and done. But I will say this. On our next phase, we're going to be going into live trading. And in a live element, you're going to learn a lot because it's going to be part of my own mindset. And you can see frustrations because in my last time doing the live trades, you know, I'll get quiet. You can tell the phases between that. And I'm human just like you. So we're going to go ahead and enjoy some of that nuance in a clean fashion, because I've seen some other traders that does their live trading, and you know, for the most part, I am human. I might pop off and say something crazy, but for the most part, it's not going to be 90% crazy. Like I've seen some of them, and they're just pure putrid as far as how they come across. Listen, I want to teach kids too, you know. But yeah, so look forward to that. That's going to start after the 4th of July. I'm going to enjoy some time with my family, kick my feet up, and enjoy some of the money that I make. I'm not one of those that just sit here all day. But yeah, look forward to working with y'all. One-on-ones will get ramped up a little shortly after those shows. So if you don't get your one-on-one today, you're probably going to have to wait about 3 to 4 weeks before I reopen the calendar for that. That said, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Forward it to your friends and family. We're going to have a lot of fun. And those that are in Get Rich or Fit Trying, we're going to get cranked up on our last day today. So I look forward to working with y'all in that regard. So thank you for another great season in BYTTT. And I bid you a farewell. Have a great day. Later.